like redefining definitions. Is that right? Go ahead.
This law said they couldn't ride the front of the bus.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, there was laws like that on the books.
Come on, caller. Welcome.
Go ahead, call you on there.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters too who are listening.
It's just brothers here right now.
He said sisters that's listening. Go ahead, Ronaldo.
Okay, sisters listening.
Sisters who are listening, yes indeed.
All men sitting here.
Brother Ship, and I'm glad to comment on the point that you, the last person who had mentioned that court has to be tested, and we have to be present in the court, not just in the criminal cases that which involve killing of people, but also in the civil cases. And the reason I'm mentioning this to you is that I own a company called Zanco Products. It's historical, and I won't go into any details on it, except to say that we are a court, and I'm inviting, as the website's put together, the Zanco story, I'm inviting the public to follow 3 cases that are in civil court. And it will tell the story of what happens to African American businesses. You put down your own money. If you don't get a loan for Tri-State Bank, First Tennessee Bank, or the Community Bank used to be down on Elvis Presley or any of those banks, or Small Business Administration, a minority, any of that, didn't get a penny from them. So I use my own money. And the little talked about a scenario that follows from that is what happens when we decide to go into the decree. Zanco Products used to pay $15 an hour to people, and that was way back in the 80s. Story hasn't been told, but you'll soon hear about it.
Okay.
And I will, in time, announce those case numbers and give some idea what I'm talking general in generalities right now. So I'm glad to hear what I call the transition from analysis and articulation of the issue to direct action. And we can be full employment on people. It's all to do that. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, thank you, Brother Stan, for calling. Are you going to give us that information on the cases to follow?
Hello?
Yes.
Give us that information on those 2 cases that you want us to follow.
Yeah. Cases that I'm talking about, I will give you case numbers,
Okay.
name, at a later time. I can't do this, but it's
Okay, all right.
process let's say right now on my computer right now.
All right.
But
Well,
those will be announced. And so, because it's for public, it's not a private issue for me.
okay. Well, Stan, let me ask you this. Can you give us a call next week with that information? Next Sunday?
Yeah,
Between 2 and 3?
I'll be happy to.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have another call, Isaac?
No, sir.
All right. He said something that's very important and is reminiscent of Dr. King, Jim Bevel, and the days of the civil rights. And what was that? Direct action. Direct action. Who wants to say something about direct action? Come on, Talu.
Yeah, well, basically that's what I've been saying all along. The direct action is the only action that's going to cause anybody to realize that you have a deterrent to their conduct and their actions upon us. Okay? An example is strike the beehive. Walk up and just hit the beehive. Unprotected. Just hit it. I guarantee you the bees are not going to be concerned about how many bees going to die. They're not concerned about anything other than the fact that they're in defense mode. They don't care about death. That's a natural phenomenon. You hit the beehive, and they gonna attack, and that's just it. And they're gonna die, right? And no problem for them at all. It's a natural phenomenon, right? Okay. With us, our direct action is always applicable to how we think the white man feels and how we think
Yes.
they're gonna respond.
Yes.
Not of our own. You know, our direct action is not of our own. It's in contemplation with, are we orderly? Are we doing this the right way? What they're gonna say if we do it this way? That type of thing.
Yeah.
We have to become men and women in our community and respond according to the nature of God that He put here for us. Otherwise, found word.
Okay.
Otherwise, our children's children are going to see the Caucasian male as the superior male in this country. And we don't need that.
He said two things that stood out to me, Omar. He said seeking the white man's approval. Therein lies the invisible white man who's not there, but is embedded in some kind of way in our, not just mind, but entire soul. He also said that this whole slave mentality, well, I'm paraphrasing now, would be passed on to our children from generation to generation to generation. And what kind of men and women are we to allow this to continue?
Right.
Omar, I want to pass the ball to you.
You know, he hit the nail on the head, and he hit it so solid it went straight into what it needs to go.
Okay.
We have got to understand who the white man is and come out of the fear of the white man. Mr. Farrakhan said, our fear of the white man is what's holding us back. I mean, when I go to a prison every Friday, I let them, and they're going to probably throw me out. I don't care.
Okay.
I'm too old to worry about it.
Okay.
But I bring up criminal cases. I brought one today. There's a couple in South Carolina. This is how the justice system works. They took their 9-month-old baby and starved it to death. When the baby was born, they weighed 8 pounds, 9 ounces. When the baby died, they weighed 6 pounds, 8 ounces. They got a total, mother and father, a total of 16 years in prison. A black man in South Carolina beat his child to death. He gets life in prison with no parole. The governor of, the mayor of New Orleans committed a crime, get money on the table, Ray Nagin. They gave him 10 years in prison for that kind of incident. The governor of Wisconsin, McDougal, just went to trial, just got found convicted. The prosecutor asked for 10 years, they gave him 2 years. He might not even serve all of that.
Yeah.
So there's no justice in the justice system. What you got to understand is this white man has no justice for you and no love for you. You need direct action against this beast. And if you don't take direct action on your environment, forget about how many going to die.
Yes.
Yeah, we all going to die someday.
That's right. That's right. Because, Lonnie, is it safe to say that all we've said here today and in past shows, the mentality of African Americans in general, not specifically, not us here, we have our minds and souls are dead. So physically, if we allow this to continue, we may as well be dead. Is it safe to say that? And say something about this next idea, this next show in the future, and we're going to be examining further the nature of the killer cops. Come on.
And
We've got a long time. We've got 17 minutes.
Well, this will be quick, man. But like Rudy said, you know, we gotta break this cycle, and we gotta understand how important our history is.
History.
Because just think about our ancestors 40, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. They was getting lynched, they was getting hung, they was getting chased down. Some never made it home on the way at night, on the way from work to a home or wherever they was going. The police system, they started it to be night patrols for the slaves. You get caught out when the street lights came on. You was outside. It was, who knows what would happen to you. But the point being is that repeatedly, our black males have been made an example for the world to see that
We won't stand up for our own.
We won't stand up for we won't stand up for our children that's getting raped and killed by these monsters. We won't stand up for our women that's getting raped, our brothers that's getting killed, and you won't stand up for yourself.
And rape.
And raped. In prison.
Yes.
And another thing,
Go ahead.
real quick, I want to add to that. It's a brother, Tyrone Hayes, Berkeley. He's a professor at Berkeley College in California. And he had this research about this chemical, atrazine. This chemical is used for pesticide for our food that we eat. The manufacturer of this chemical hired him to do research back in 1999 or something like that, to do research on the chemical to see the effects that it does on amphibians. So as he gets his team and they do the research and he finds out that this chemical is causing abnormalities in our sexual behaviors or in the amphibians first. You know, it's causing abnormalities. These frogs start producing a vast majority of estrogen, and then they start producing eggs, and they're changing their role. They were actually changing into females, and their desire for females dissipated. You see what I'm saying? And so as he brought it to the light, they try to discredit this brother. They try to not only discredit him, they tried to threaten him, you know.
When you said they,
I'm speaking of the powers that be. I'm speaking of the manufacturer, those who had invested in that chemical and you know the profits from the chemical. You know, they don't want to get the information to the light, right? And so, but the brother, and it wasn't just him, but he was the head of the research, and other scientists across all the world got a hold to the information because he finally got it out. But the thing about it is, you know, in the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency
EPA
got involved, and you know, come to find out that one of the members that was on the Environmental Protection Agency also was in this company. Syngenta was the name of the company. Was also a part of the company, so of course he's not going to say, hey, look, this is having you know, terrible effects on the people. But my point being is that these destructive powers that be are using deadly chemicals to get rid of our people. They know the effects that it's doing, but for profits, the profits matter to them more than our lives. So we got to understand, we got to reverse that and forget about this money and this materialist. We got to value our lives and put all the other stuff to the side. So
I want to go to Jeffrey now. He said something about history. Then, can we see similarities to what he's talking about in terms of what has happened to black men, even today in 2015?
Absolutely. I want to try to make that even more relative with what he was saying, with what Brother Talib and what Brother Baruti was saying.
We're down to about 10, 12 minutes. Go ahead.
If these things are pesticides in our food, and the scientist exposes that they cause feminine tendencies in men, that's emasculation. That could be another reason or another culprit as to why we as men are not standing up and taking the role that we need to be taking in society. So that's very interesting. That, you know, we get information in a lot of ways, and our primary source of information is through our food.
Okay. And on the historical aspect, there's this. Have you heard of this book, The Odyssey of the African American? I can't call the author's name right now, but anyway, in that book they talk about Peter Salem, who did much of this helping white folks solve their problems and do all this so-called good work, and died poor. So how important is the history, the Odyssey as the narrative or whatever, the journey of African Americans? How important is that history? And will it lead us to stronger self-knowledge in relationship to the problems that we face as a group? Jeffrey?
I can't agree with that. I totally agree with it because I can just give you my personal example. I didn't start this frame of mind that we call consciousness. It wasn't being developed until I dig deep into my history, until history. I had I went to Middle Tennessee State University, and my professor, who was the head of our African American Studies department, was actually a native of Memphis, Tennessee. Her name is Dr. Bonnie Shipp. And our very first day in class, she said, look, we want all of y'all to just throw out everything that you believe that you know about history and society up until this point. Throw it all out. It's no longer relevant. She said, but from this point forward, we're going to take this little bit of information that I'm providing for you in this class, and we're going to analyze it and see if this changes your perspective on some things. And just going through her class through a semester, that is what actually got me to thinking. It's your history that's going to provoke you into thinking and connecting the dots on why these things keep happening in society. These are not isolated incidents. When you look into history, you'll see the pattern. And the history and the pattern that we see here in America is a history of white racism, white supremacy. And so,
Omar, is that what you call debriefing?
That is what you call debriefing, and we need about 20 to 30 years of debriefing to get us out of the condition we're in.
We've got 5 minutes. Let's each take a minute each, and I'll close it out.
You know, the country was established by crooks and criminals, and what we need to do is go back and correct history, but we need a generation where we just teach black history. Don't teach white history. Don't teach American history. Just teach black history. The black history would show that, even if you included some of it, it would show that Thomas Jefferson was a pedophile, even though he was the president of the country. Because his favorite sex object was a 14-year-old girl. It would show that George Washington was a rapist, because most of the women on his plantation he had sex with. Ben Franklin was a slaveholder, even though he signed the Constitution. But if you go back and look at the true history, you will be holding these people in high esteem. Columbus, a Jewish person, was also a murderer. We need to know that history, but we need to know our history.
Let's go around the table. Lonnie?
I agree. We got to quit making heroes and glorifying the Caucasians, white people, whatever you want to call them, and not glorifying our own people and our own struggle. We got to quit being black. You got to quit being the same with the struggle that you came from, and we have to keep striving together every day.
Shame. I want to talk more about shame later.
Yeah, we need to be more realistic about our history. There's no question about it. And also we need to understand that this country is a country that is born out of murder.
Yes.
Okay? Millions of people murdered.
Yes.
Okay? Now we ride around in the streets and we look at all the wonderment and the beautiful buildings and nice streets, and look on television, we see the actresses and actors, and go to the movies and libraries and all that. But we can't forget it's murder that brought about all of this. And we can't forget that the same people who murdered the Native Americans are murdering us now.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
See, we think in our mind that we are special. We believe that we're special. We believe that these people love us. And they're not going to kill us like they did the Native. Wrong.
Okay.
Adolf Hitler. Okay, Adolf Hitler. The same principles, theories, and logic that Adolf Hitler executed on the Jewish people, the German people, and all those people. These people in America are executing the same thing on us. Y'all can't see it. We die in all kinds of ways.
See some of the same
thing.
Same stuff. 2 things that Talib said, Jeffrey. He said, belief and special. Is that completely out of touch with reality, Jeffrey? See, can you do that in 1 minute? We're down to 1 minute. You can't do it in 1 minute? He said he can't do it in 1 minute. Omar, may I pass the ball to you?
It's a hard thing to put together in one day.
Let's start there next week.
That's right.